You are live. Okay, so we are here on our second installment of the Playground Buzz. And you
Woohoo!
guys can see our guest right here, Anuhea. She needs absolutely no introduction. She is just a ray of sunshine and a ball of energy. And we're so glad to have you on the podcast. Thank you for, this opportunity.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for having me. How exciting. This is new. This is
Yeah,
fun.
it's going to be different. I was telling you just a second ago before we hopped on live that this is not your regular, radio interview. We're going to talk about the same old, same old. We're going to throw some new questions at you, hopefully, and I'm sure it gets a little bit monotonous asking, answering the same old things over and over and talking about the same things. So hopefully you're
I'm ready
ready.
for it. I am ready for anything. Let's go.
All right, perfect. Um, let's start with I gotta know because he's been very somebody that I've been kind of fascinated with lately, and I was kind of stalking your Instagram a little bit, yeah, and saw that you had met Dennis Rodman before. So, do you mind
Yeah.
sharing that story a little bit and how that came to
Oh,
be?
you dug a little deep back there in the gram. That
Uh
was
huh.
a
Uh
few
huh.
months ago. Yeah, no, I met him at the Harris Casino. He was apparently like in his room, just staying there. If we know Dennis Rodman, he's a fun-loving guy, super tall, I think 6'8" or something. But I know him
Yes.
best from playing with Michael Jordan, just an amazing rebounder. My dad was a basketball coach, so I had a lot of like stuff to talk about with him. But I had been drinking, he had been drinking, but he came down from his room to come check us out because he heard reggae music like down at the pool where we were performing. So he came down and was sitting at the bar, and I guess he like saw me, recognized me, and like told one of his people like, go bring her over here, because that's when you're that big and famous, you have like
You can
people that
do that
handle that
stuff.
kind of stuff for you. Yeah. And so then I was like beckoned to him, and I'm like, oh my god, like freaking fangirl out. And all my band members were too, and my boyfriend too. And so it was cute and funny. But we took a picture, and he was super nice.
So Dennis Rodman recognized you. That sounds kind of crazy. What is that
I
like?
mean, he just heard reggae and he's like, "Oh, I like this," and he's probably surprised to see some white girl. But then he did see, we talked a little bit about like chakras. I don't know how we got on a hippie vibe real quick. I think I told him I'm from Makawao, and then
Uh-huh.
talking about how he spent time in Hawaii or Maui. It was a blur. It was a little bit of a blur,
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So yeah, I know that you don't obviously you don't really like sports too much, right?
I have like my little shrine to the Minnesota Vikings, like right over there by my.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. I didn't know Dad was a basketball coach. I thought maybe he was more of a football guy. But I mean, what is that? How much does that impact your life, and how big is sports for you? And shine a little bit of light on sports and what they do for your family.
Yeah. My dad was a coach. My dad just passed away last October. So I'm still like, missing him every day. I have his little picture right over there with his Minnesota bike. He just chose the purple team when he was a kid. We have no connection
Okay.
to the state of Minnesota or anything, but
Okay.
we became like super hardcore Vikings fans. But I think just that discipline that him as a coach, the appreciation for hard work and hustle. Like my dad was the
Hmm.
kind of coach that if you come to practice every day on time, wearing your proper uniform with a great attitude, like you don't have to necessarily be the best player on the team. He will play you and make sure that you get your opportunity. The people with the bad attitudes that think, oh, I'm the best one on the team, I don't need to come to practice. Like he would have like a field day with them, like making sure that they understand and put their ego in check, and those are the kinds of lessons that I take with me as, a leader in my own career. I'm not like a sports player anymore, but at least as like a captain of my team, when I talk about me and my
Right.
band, that's the kind of stuff I appreciate. You can always teach somebody the right notes to play, but if they're enthusiastic and excited to play with you, they come on time, they come dressed ready to rock. Those are the kind of people I want on my team. And I think my
Yes,
dad
100%. Yeah, those core values that are instilled through sports are just something that always stick with you. At the end of the day, sports is not always going to be there and that time is going to come to an end, but the lessons that you learned, through it, it's just really cool to be able to implement them in the rest of your life. It's something that you don't lose.
so
And
many life lessons with
you know,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're I mean, as far as your pops, he's living through you and he's living with you, and you know all the lessons you're teaching. And you know, I don't just want to introduce you on hey as a musician, but you're a mom first, and I think that's,
Mm,
you know, kind of your purpose, you know, and your reasoning. That's just me, you know, meeting you
You're,
one time, but I can see that light radiating from you that, you know
you're
what,
gonna
you're
make me
very
proud.
proud to be a mom.
Thank you. No,
No.
that means the world to me as I'm yelling at my son, like, hey, don't eat cookies in my bed. He's running away.
Yeah, so you know we can see that, you know, and that's really felt, and we'll touch on that a little bit more because like you said, being in that creative flow and that creative zone, it doesn't just happen all of the time, and life happens, and you gotta, you know, get your stuff in alignment first, and then when you're in a good place or when you're not in a good place, you know, then that creativity flows and you find your outlets and things like that, right?
You know what's up? Yes, you do. Exactly.
So you're not an athlete, but you do
I
you're
mean, I played
practicing
water
yoga.
polo. I've in high
Well,
school, I was a swimmer.
you're practicing yoga and you run now, right? I seen like maybe a 10K or half marathon, or what has that journey been like for you?
I've ran 3 half marathons now, so that's a full marathon and a half. Thank you very much.
There you go.
But no,
There you go.
the last one I walked. The last one I did not train at all. But no, running is a very cool, like, oh my God, sorry. Sorry. That was me
It's
trying to
okay.
turn off my phone. Running is a cool meditative experience for me, especially when you have good music, good playlist. I can just like listen to
Mhm.
music, and then next thing I know, 6 miles, 8 miles, 9 miles is done. I
Right.
definitely have fun with it when I'm running. I'll like pull out my phone, I'll be like 1 mile, and then I go 2 miles, and then 3 miles. The next thing you know, it's 13 miles. Like, it's funny to watch my face get redder and redder and redder
Yeah.
throughout the
Well, it's just that runner's high is real, right? After you knock down a couple, like you might not want to run, but after you knock in, you know, get in the flow of it and get in the zone, and after a couple miles, you're just like, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. You get closer and
yeah.
closer to that finish line, and you get more and more energized. So as speaking about you speaking on music, you know, what do you listen to when you run? What's your playlist like when you're out exercising and doing those things?
Everything. Like, well,
Yeah.
exercising, I definitely like, of course, the upbeat stuff. Like, I like the techno and the dubstep and like really high energy. Spotify is amazing nowadays. Like, the stuff
Yeah.
that they can put together for you based on what you've listened to and what you like it's like perfect. I'm like, oh no, they did it. Like the DJ of Spotify, I'm like, yes, because it's perfect.
Yeah.
Keeps and then
They
when you
know
take
you. They're tracking you. They know what you listen to.
creepy, creepy how much they know me. But yeah, that's great. But then even just another thing with my dad and how he inspired me. He loved music. He always he's funny. He can't really sing. We come from a musical family. My dad likes to think he can sing, but he would just sing at the top of his lungs. Everywhere we would go in a car, he would sing to his students to make them laugh. He would rap. So he inspired me with a lot of music at a young age. Everything from Michael Jackson to Stevie Wonder to Earth, Wind, and Fire to like even the old James Taylor stuff. Like, I just have such a cool eclectic Boys to Men, all the modern like R&B stuff too. Color Me Bad, oh my God, and he just inspired me for such a variety of music. So we have like a cool playlist that we play when I'm doing yard work. I'll always put on my dad's playlist because he was a big guy with for yard work. He taught me a lot of lessons in the yard too. I can share.
Right on. No, that's like a perfect. You hit on so many things I want to talk about and
I'm all
segue
over the place
into.
right now.
No,
Sorry.
that it's okay. Let's reel it in. I think going back to your roots a little bit, you said a very musical family, so you can talk to the trio, you know, that kind of got it started for your family, and then maybe MPK group, and your yeah, yeah, I know about that.
Who is this?
Um,
Jeez.
so let's talk about the trio, MPK, and then just coming from Maui and coming back home and what that's going to be like for you.
Okay. Yeah. Um, my auntie, my dad's sister was in a famous Hawaiian band. I talk about it all the time, but they definitely were an inspiration to me too because they won brown bags to stardom right out of high school. So, and then I was born that same year. So my entire life, I've watched my auntie be this like, within Hawaii, this famous female singer and going out to dinner and stuff with her, seeing people recognize her, knowing every single word to every single song and listening to their beautiful harmonies together in this trio called Naleo. It was always of course it was inspiring for me to see that and to see how you could make a career out of music. I just never thought I was a musician. Like I never thought I was a singer. She didn't teach me anything really. I taught myself how to play guitar and kind of got to my own hard knocks to get to where I was. But then she did guide me later with the first record label and stuff. But I am I'm thankful for being able to see that and to have that kind of role model in the scene. In high school though, my best friend Kimmy A. Minor, she's also a singer. You guys should totally have her at
Yeah.
the playground. Have you guys? I don't know if you guys have had her yet, but yeah, I'm gonna see her
We'll
this
work on
week.
it. We'll work on it.
Yeah, she and I were roommates. There was four of us actually, four of us besties. Even though there's four of us, we started a little girl like funny band, but we called it MPKs, the MPKs,
Hmm.
and it literally
There you go.
it stands for nothing. Like we thought the letters sounded cool, so we just put
But
the
it's
letters
catchy,
together.
right?
What does it mean? So we just like made up some weird word like Mace Plush Coof. Like that's what it stands for. It's ridiculous. But no, and then one of the girls dropped out because she didn't feel like she wanted to like make fun of herself like we did. But yeah, we would full on make choreographed dances in our dorm and lip sync. We even entered, me and Kimie actually, not the whole MPKs, we entered this competition that ragu, you know, like the pasta sauce. They have
Hmm.
this thing called Ragu Express where it's like microwavable pasta in a bowl. You put like Easy Mac, but it's with red sauce. And they were trying to do like a contest. If somebody can make like a jingle for Ragu Express, then you'll get like a year's supply of Ragu Express and I think some money and stuff. So me and Kimie wrote a song about Ragu Express and we did a full music video. We went above and beyond. We did a music video, dancing. This is just on campus at our boarding school at Kamehameha on Oahu. And we freaking killed it. And we didn't
Of
win
course.
first place. This other freaking girl group won first place and they just had audio. They had no video. So we felt
Wow.
robbed. But we did a good job and we got like a 6-month supply of Ragu Express. And that video exists somewhere. Find it.
There you go. See,
MPK,
I
so go
think
play
that's
with.
the playground. That's a Playground Buzz exclusive. I don't know too many people probably know that story right there. So thank you for sharing.
Yep. I still have some
Well,
Ragu Express in my cupboard if you want to try it. No, I'm just kidding.
it probably don't go bad, all that canned food stuff. We could talk about food too. I'm super into nutrition, and I think that's a corner that you're diving into and getting a little bit more into the healthy side of things. So we can go down that road too.
Yes,
But you
food.
touched on a lot of good things, like just having that role model, and being able to see that it's possible to follow your dreams, at a young age and see people, follow in their footsteps a little bit. You're that inspiration for a lot of people on island and off island, and you are
Mm.
that role model, and you made it, and you're an award-winning artist, and so don't forget that too. And I know you don't, and I know you're very appreciative, and I know that Maui's going to play a huge role in this. And getting back to your guitar, right, it's going to be an acoustic show. Getting back to
Yes.
Anuhea Unplugged is what it's called. So explain that. What does that mean to you?
Yeah. Um, the MTV Unplugged shows, you might be a little too young, but yeah, back in the day, they used to have that like beautiful candlelit, Moroccan carpets and just sitting on stools, like super stripped down versions of, some of your favorite artists. I just will always remember Lauryn Hill's one. It was Lauryn Hill Unplugged on MTV. And it was like, you're just bawling, like, wow. Alicia Keys' one was also amazing. I just wanted, like, of course, things are plugged in. It's not completely like non-amplified, but I just wanted to have it more be like that vibe. Like my original roots when I first started playing music, of course, was just acoustic guitar and myself at coffee shops, at open mics, and then eventually at Charlie's in Paia. I started playing with a percussionist named John, who's also going to be there. I started like
Cool.
Vince Esquire took me under his wing because he was an established like child prodigy electric guitar sensation that like was just on tour with the Neville Brothers or something at the time. And he gave me his business card when he saw me performing at some restaurant in Wailuku. And I remember being like, oh my God, like fangirling. And he took me under his wing. We ended up recording some acoustic music together at like Mana'o radio station on Maui, where they would just like
Okay.
press record and then you can just record
Just
like for
go.
3 hours. And then I
Uh-huh.
spliced that up into my first little demo CD that I would like sell at my shows. Like open the guitar case and people throw money in and you can take a CD. Some people still have that CD, by the way. Some people told
I
me that they
bet.
have it. It's called Rough Cuts. There's like 50 songs on the one CD. I'm like, girl, should have picked your top 10. Like, I didn't know better. Um, but no, and Vince is gonna be there this weekend. Also Marty Dread, who I always used to look up to, like he was just like a Maui legend, like rock star.
Legends. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I asked him if he wanted to be a part, and he's bringing the beatbox champion. I think the national beatbox champion
Yep.
lives on Maui. I can't think of
Yep.
his name right now, but I looked on his Instagram. He's freaking unreal. So him and
Mm-hmm.
Marty are going to do their thing. I have Kanoa from the band
Noah.
Gomega. I'm sure he's done a million other projects since then, but Kanoa was also an inspiration of mine going back in the day. Like he would beatbox and then loop it and then loop his guitar. Of course, like a lot of people do that now, but I think he was like one of the first that I've
First
ever.
originators. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And he was just so freaking cool to me. So I'm so happy and thankful that my OGs are coming back and we're all gonna jam. I'm bringing my guys from Oahu as well, my drummer and my bass player. So it's gonna be full sounding, but very stripped
Yeah.
back. A lot of stories, talking story in between, getting to hear some stories behind the songs, and then some new covers that I wanted to share too.
Yes. Awesome. You guys see it on the banner there. Unplugged live at the playground July 29th. Go ahead and you can get your tickets at theplaygroundmaui.com. I will let you know they are selling very, very quickly. VIP is already, or the tables, it's sold out already. And you're gonna want to hop on and get them soon. Don't wait like you Maui people do. You island people like to wait last minute and get your tickets. They're gonna be gone. So
I'm the
go ahead
same.
and
We'll fit you guys in there. I mean, let's freaking go. But yeah, the
let's
VIPs
pack it
are
out.
sold out. But I would love
Yeah.
to. Yeah, it's gonna still feel intimate, no matter if you're in the back or in the front. It's all good. We'll make it work.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see where do we take it? You said, well, MTV. Yeah, I mean, that's going back just a little bit. But that whole unplugged, I completely understand it. We take it back, not maybe as far, but you got your start kind of on MySpace. I wanted to talk about MySpace a little bit too, and what social media is now like for you. And just think about how far you've come from starting on MySpace to now. You've got your own website, you've got your own podcast, which I listen to. Your podcast content is amazing too.
We
So
should
very multifaceted. And
collaborate on that too. I need to get you
yeah,
on that.
yeah. Yeah, that would be really cool. Because everything that the conversations that you're having are so relevant and important, and people need to hear it. And then we're going through a crazy time period of just educating the people, right? And taking over and taking back what is rightfully ours, and the information that we should, be aware of. It's super important. So I love all of the things you're doing. Shout out your website, talk about social media, how far it's came, and some of the positive sides of social media.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm at that age. I don't know what we're called. We're not called boomers. I know that, but with not Gen Z, Gen X. I don't know. We can Google it.
X. I think it's
But I'm
X. I think it's
37.
X.
Okay, I'm
No, you're
37.
not. No, she's not. She's lying to you guys.
Oh,
She's a lot
mom,
younger than
I
that.
could be your mom. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I came out like right, like I remember what it was like before the internet, and I remember what it's like when the internet was just first coming out, and I remember like, oh my gosh, there's this cool thing called Facebook. Like I remember, or the Facebook,
Yeah,
and then I
the
remember when
Facebook.
getting on MySpace. I remember YouTube too. Like that was a big,
Yeah, YouTube.
huge
YouTube
deal.
changed the world. YouTube is changing the
Ah,
world, as long as
yeah.
there's other things that you were talking about too. But YouTube's crazy. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I remember. No. I actually moved from Maui. Okay, I was doing my thing on Maui, playing at Charlie's, had my MySpace. There was like these like rankings, like locally,
Hmm.
like based on where your zip code is, I suppose, or what statewide, citywide, I guess in Hawaii it'd be like island wide, like to see like how many streams like maybe your little songs would get, or how many followers you might have had. I don't know. And I remember like just me throwing myself out there. I'm not even the most talented musician, anywhere near the most talented musician on Maui, but I just was on the forefront of having the MySpace, and I
Right.
submitted.
Yeah.
I uploaded my songs.
Right place, right time, right?
Yeah. And so like I was getting like top of the charts in MySpace, and it, garnished some attention, including from my auntie's manager at the time. So he he like was looking for new upcoming talent in Hawaii because he wanted to start a record label with my auntie perhaps, but my auntie didn't even know I sang because I didn't want to tell her. We weren't that close, but I was like shame, like, oh no, I'm not really a singer. You're the singer. I'm just Anu. And then she's like, what
Mm-hmm.
the heck? Why didn't you tell me? So, that ended up, because I threw myself out there, that ended up getting me, I guess, my first record like deal, which is basically
Right.
they helped me pay for my first album. I had written all my own songs and I got to go to LA and record in a studio with a professional like guy. Like that was my dream come true at the time, and I've never ever since been able to just be locked up in a studio with a
Mm.
producer. And I remember him telling me at the time, I'm like 22 years old. The producer was telling me, that, if and when you have a long music career, this is your first impression to the world right now. Like we're developing you as an artist. And I remember being like, oh my God, this is so exciting, but this is so much pressure. But he's like, yeah, you've had your entire life to write all of these songs till right now. But after this, you're gonna have to like write faster. Like you're gonna have to,
It's a
there's gonna be
job now,
pressure.
right?
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my, he's like, you're gonna wish that you're like this. I just remember that. I'm like, yep, I totally do. Cause now I'm like, God, I have to like figure out studio time in between taking my son to football practice and, doing taxes and all this stupid grown-up stuff. I'm like, I just want to be creative. Like I miss it. So anyway,
Yep.
but back to social media. Um, I'm just, yeah, thankful for that exposure. And I just want to recommend to everybody as I watch things change, like don't stop. Like the more things that you cast out into, the more lines you cast out, like you never know what's going to pick up. Like one of your songs goes viral, some stupid dance on TikTok, it will
Mm-hmm.
change your life. Like the way things are
Right.
getting paid out nowadays with streaming revenues, it's starting to make sense. Like
Yeah.
you can buy a house from a stupid video that you posted online.
It's nuts. It's nuts, right? It's crazy. It's come so far. But I think what I got out of that is you got to be in the moment. You got to be in the present moment and you got to enjoy it, because I'm sure all that time, as fun as it was, it just went by like that because you were constantly just stacking the next thing on the next thing. And um, it's very hard to do, right? It's a skill that you have to learn to just take a day, take some deep breaths and ground yourself and enjoy what you're going through, the
Mhm.
positives and the negatives, and reflect on it. And, um, I got to refer back to my notes. I think it's right here on the second page. You talk about your elevated mindset and aloha they self. So, what does that mean to you? And I'm sure that, helps ground you in the moment and be present. It's something that you got to continue to work on until you're 37 and above. And you just got to keep evolving as a person. So what is that for you?
Yes. Um, there's so much that I'm excited to share, as I'm writing and collecting stuff for this new album that I'm
Yes.
working on, slowly working on. But yeah, I went through kind of a soul ascension. Like, yeah, I don't know if it was a midlife crisis, something, not a crisis, just a midlife like consciousness, I think.
Just life. Yeah. Just life.
Something, I don't know, just back to, maybe it was the pandemic. It might have just coincided with my age at that time, my maturity level, my capacity at the time. But yes, having that pandemic, like everything after that, like kicked my ass, but in the best
Yeah.
ways. Like my life was completely like broken down, changed, people, friends, management, partners, like everything. My house, like that I was living in, everything just completely changed. And it was like an uprooted awesomeness. But I have a song from my first album that I wrote and I had no idea how applicable it would be like much later, 20 years later. It's called Here I Go Again. And it just talks about me making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Like basically it was about like, oh, you dumb girl getting drunk again at jocks and put you, and made out with that stupid boy that you said you weren't going to make out with, like when I'm like
Mm-hmm.
21 years old. But like I'm listening to the words that I had written, and it is talking about breaking it down to build it up all over again, breaking it down
Yeah.
to build it up all like a fresh beginning. Like life is short, but it's also long. Like we can
Mm-hmm.
have multiple different like chapters in our life, dimensions. And sometimes it's painful to say goodbye to one chapter, but it's also so exciting. And that's exactly where I'm at right now. Like aloha thyself is my change, just my transitional like motto, because I didn't really take care of myself right before that. I was just working, working, working. My
Yeah.
mindset was somebody else telling me what to do and just have to do it, have to make money because I was getting married, have to make money because my parents don't own a house and I just need to own a house. I need to own a house. Like, not enjoying life for what it was and not taking care of myself until I hit a freaking wall and my body's like, no, 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 bitch, you're going to take care of yourself. So all of those things, mental health, huge. So Aloha Thyself is the name of a song that I have coming out on the new album. It's also like
Oh, we got it.
an exclusive like Patreon, which is my like super fans that subscribe to hang out with me in Zoom. It's a Patreon like group where we can get deeper and talk about deep stuff, not just like podcast
Surface
stuff,
level.
like real
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. And it's not recorded, like unless they're recording the TV, but are recording the computer screen with their phone, but I don't think they would do that. They're my friends. But yeah, just being real and being authentic. Aloha Thyself.
Yes. I like that. I'm writing all that stuff down.
I'm
But
bringing you a
yeah, you
shirt
hit on.
like that.
All
I
right,
have
right on. Yeah.
bring them to the playground.
You have some cool merch. I really like your logo and the way you incorporated all the colors and the heart and all that stuff. It's really cool.
My brother designed that. My brother, love you, brother Jordan.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. My brother's name is Jordan too. So
Oh,
cool.
cool.
Awesome. Change. I think you talk about change. Change is good. You know, change is necessary. That's how you elevate your consciousness. That's how you go to the next level. You know, it changes is hard, but you know, at the end of the day, it has to happen in order for you to, you know, sometimes you got to be uprooted out of that current circumstances and planted into another environment in order for you to flourish, you know. So change is very, very important, and being real and truthful to yourself and to others, but mainly yourself. If you can't be truthful and here to yourself, you're putting on a front for everybody else, you know. And again, it's not the easiest thing to do. I like that you bring up mental health, because there's a lot of people that are struggling, and there's a lot of people that were struggling through the pandemic. But you know, we're pushing through that and we're pushing out of it. And for some people, the pandemic was really good. For other people, the pandemic was really hard. But we have to be in the present moment, in the current moment. And the way that I look at time now is like, if you literally wake up and you think of every single day as being like a new, you can reinvent yourself every day. It doesn't have to be every year or every time you pick up and move. Like when you wake up, you could come with different energy and a different mindset and become a different person every single day, because you're just blessed with the opportunity to wake up again. You know, it's
Life
so
is a
cool when you break
gift.
it
Like,
down.
you talk to older people, and that's why it's so important. I feel like, you know, in Hawaiian culture too, there was always a kupuna in your posse. Like,
Yes.
you didn't put them in a separate living space. You live with them. You learn, they
Right.
know what's
Right.
up.
Yeah.
And that's, you know,
100%.
all these quotes that you see online, you know, if that's what it takes to get somebody to drill it in their head, they ask old people, like, what is one thing that you wish you knew when you were younger? And the consensus, like, I wish I didn't care what other people thought of me. I wish I just did what I wanted to do and just lived my life to the fullest, because you're going to live with regrets if you don't take advantage of every day like that, and
Yeah.
doing whatever you like. Of course, don't
Yeah.
hurt people, but like trial and error, like make mistakes. Like, I've definitely made mistakes, and I own up to them. And that's another part of like my healing journey and my ascension path, is like reflecting and looking back and thinking about, wow, I was so oblivious to how I might have made someone feel, just because, you know, I give myself grace and understanding why I was oblivious. But then I also know that I need to go and check back with them and make sure that they're okay, because maybe they're still thinking about it, or maybe it affected their life negatively. So just that consciousness and that awareness is something that
Right.
Aloha Thyself can also encompass too, like just loving your faults, your mistakes, but knowing how to move forward from them.
Yes, absolutely. And you got to say it again. It's who cares about what other people think? You
Yeah,
know, at the end of the day, if you don't care and they do, it doesn't matter, because you don't. You know,
it's
it's
so
just
funny. Like, you see it all around. Like, I remember, again, you might be too young, Miley freaking
uh-huh.
Cyrus. Okay.
Oh
Miley
yeah, yeah,
Cyrus.
yeah.
She's a little younger than me, but when she was coming out and transitioning from that teeny bopper Disney girl to, I think it was the
Mhm.
MTV Music Awards or something. And she had these bears and she had her little freaking outfit. And then she invented like she didn't invent it, of course not, but she was like the first white girl to do it on TV, like the twerk, right?
That's
Little girl
right. Yeah,
shaking
I
her
remember
ass,
that.
big girls all around her, she's slapping their ass, and we're like, oh my God. Like I remember watching it on TV, and I was a young person too, but I
Yeah.
remember being like,
Mhm.
oh my God, she's fine. Oh my God, I can't believe it. She didn't give boop. She didn't give a boop. And afterwards, like after that wrecking ball, everything, she became like such an icon. Like
You
shock
got to be
value,
you.
sure. Yes,
Yeah.
people are might be resistant, people might be shocked, yes, but guess what? They're gonna get over it. Like YouTube, and when it first came out, was probably shocking. Everything when it first came out was shocking. So if that's what you're, because that's the biggest thing I'm scared of, like initial reactions. Oh my God, I'm a mom, I can't do that. No, get over that fear. People are gonna get used to it, and then you're gonna be like, okay, bored with that you're gonna try
Yeah.
something new now.
Yeah. And I mean, if you do everything the way everybody else wants you to do, or you're just like everybody else, you just don't make a name for yourself. You don't stick out. And again, you're going against everything that you are, right? And you start to see it affect your mental health, your body, you might start eating that bad food or whatever your habits are. You start going into those when you are not your true,
You're not in alignment.
self.
If you can't
You're
speak your
not in
truth,
alignment.
like your throat,
Your
this is what I'm learning
chakras.
about throat chakras. Yep. I start getting
Yep.
sore throat. I lose my voice when I'm on tour, like way
Yeah.
prematurely if I'm not like being honest or something with
Being
someone.
mindful of it.
It's
Yeah, it's so
sick.
crazy.
Uh-huh.
But it's not, and I don't even really, words to me are so powerful. Crazy is not even the right thing. It just makes sense when you know about it. That education, like we were talking about, is so key, so critical. And now with YouTube, and you talked a little bit, you touched on your schools, but like the school system nowadays too, and the way that we're learning information, you don't have to go to school and get a degree, although it will help kids. Like, do what is in alignment with you, and don't go to school because somebody else is telling you this, or you're trying to make somebody else proud. At the end of the day, you're not going to be feeling the way that you truly are meant to, or be on your purpose or on your path.
Yep. And you'll feel
So
it, like you feel like a blockage or something. You're like, wait, no, trial and error. I'm all about making
yeah,
mistakes and learning from them. But yeah, you'll feel it within your soul if you try to do something and it's not meant to be, and just opening your heart and mind to feeling that, like from the
yeah,
universe and from yourself. Like it's a new thing that I've experienced too, because I was just kind of going by with what somebody else was telling me to do. Initially I was like that, but then I was like, following my heart, but then somewhere along my path it turned into somebody else telling me where to go or what I should be doing, and me
right,
caring too much, and I lost that like genuine, authentic, unjaded like artistry that I had. And so again, I know we're not going to be here all day, but just to wrap it back up to
yeah,
this unplugged vibe again, and why this show
yes,
is so important to me at the playground, because I feel like I needed this for myself. I had a really, really crazy past couple years. I big gigantic breakup after a very public like wedding and celebrated relationship. We're not together anymore, but I'm so happy in my life right now, and we're good. Everyone's fine, everyone's happy, but I feel like this like weird guilt because it's a blockage in
hmm,
my own self. Like feel embarrassed, guilt and shame of like, oh wow, what a failure I am. But no, like I need to get back to where I was before, being honest, being real, being vulnerable, helping other people know that they're not alone if they're going through something similar. And I don't want to have to care about like if people think I'm cool or not. Like, no, I just want to get it out for myself. And hopefully one person in the back is like, oh, thank you. I felt so
yeah,
stupid about talking about my relationship as well, but now you're making me feel okay. I just want to be happy and blah, whatever it is. That
yeah,
that's the kind of stuff that keeps me going, and getting back to my roots will help make that happen for me too.
yes, good. So I know we're running on time. Thank you for being so open and honest and sharing all those things. And your music helps people get through those hard times and relate. Is very relatable. I know people are going to be excited about the all that new stuff that we got coming. Are you going to be able to share some of it with us here? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Maybe
sure,
we
why
got to
not?
see.
I have
Yeah.
some cool stuff. Yeah, I have some cool stuff we could probably pull off. Acoustic
Okay.
vibe. Let's do it.
Okay. Awesome. Let's see. Maybe you got time for two more questions.
Sure.
All right, awesome. We'll do this. So we're starting a tradition. The last guest on the podcast left a question for you. She actually left two. She left like a real simple, easy question that's a fun one to answer, and then one that's gonna be a little bit maybe more intimate. I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to do one, or you want to do both of them, or how you
This
feeling
is from
today?
Claire Wright, the
Yes, it is.
beautiful Claire Wright. I would love to answer
Yes, it
both of them.
is.
I'll keep it tight though. I won't go on and on like.
Okay. Okay. We'll go with the I guess the tougher one first. And she asked, she was curious. She didn't know who was going to be on. This question was for anybody, but when was the last time that you cried?
Right when we started this podcast and you're telling me I'm a good mom. That hit the heartstring for me because of course that's always one of my fears as a mother who is leaving sometimes to go and work. But again, like I found peace with that, knowing that I know that my son is watching his mom striving and achieving for her dreams. I'm not going to die for my kid, even though I would die for him. I would jump in front of a
Yeah.
car or a bullet for my child. But I don't want to just sit at home and okay, baby, what can I wipe your butt for you? Like, no, I'm gonna go and live my life so he can be like, wow, my mom's badass. Come with me too. Like he can come on the road. We've had a lot of fun. So thank you for bringing that heartstring because that's the last time I cried. My son always makes me cry. He's so cute.
Yeah.
Can I get
Thank you
over
for
here?
sharing that. Yeah, bring them
He's
on.
just sneaking outside to go catch some Pokemon.
There you
Come, baby,
go.
just come say hi to the people real fast. He came with me to my last the playground show, but he had to hide in the back because he was
Right
under.
on. What's up? This a football player?
He is, and he's a Kansas City Chiefs fan, clearly.
Oh,
Rolling with
wow.
my
Okay,
homie.
Mahomes. I see it. I see it. I saw Mahomes play in that playoff game with Josh Allen. You probably remember that one was a good one. You guys got to go see a Chiefs game. It's crazy. It's nuts.
Oh boy, he wants to for his 10th birthday. He really wants to go
Mm,
see something with his dad. His dad and him both love the Chiefs. I wanted him to be a Vikings fan, but it's
didn't
okay.
happen. Well, thank you for sharing it. We got to let the people know, like, it's okay to cry. Happy tears,
Mhm.
sad tears. It's part of feeling those emotions and being okay with them. And some parents need to know that you got to just the best way to teach your kid. I'm not even a parent yet, so who am I to say? But you can maybe let me know if this is true or not. You got to lead by example. You
Yeah.
can't tell your kid to not do this while you're doing exactly what you're telling them not to do. It doesn't work like that. They learn by what they see their parents do and the people around them and those kind of things. So continue to shine the light for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got to work on my
Um,
swearing in front of my kid. Like, no, you're not allowed to say that word. Only I am. Like,
right.
yeah, can't do
Yeah. Lead
that.
by example. Lead by example. The second question from Miss Claire was, what do you eat on your pancakes? What do you eat on your pancakes? Do you like
What a
pancakes? What do you eat
cutie.
on your pancakes?
He's
Yeah.
adorable. Um, I'm I'm more of a omelet gal, but if I
Okay.
had to choose something on my pancakes, I might have to say banana pancakes, probably because Jack
Mm,
Johnson is one of my favorite artists of all time, and he has a song called Banana Pancakes.
there
My
you
son
go. Shout out.
just had waffles this morning, and we put regular syrup and chocolate syrup, so that would be another choice.
Right
Yeah.
on. Awesome. All right. So it's your turn then. For our next guest, what kind of question you have for them? What do you think would be a good question? You can take
Okay.
it however you may, like Claire did, something to
I
pull
love
some
that.
strings or make it super simple. It's up to you.
Okay. What is your spirit animal?
Ooh.
I like that. That could be maybe a deeper one because there's so much kauna, especially in Hawaii, about animals and what they represent and stuff. And then maybe the simple one could be um, best. Tell us about your first kiss. Woo!
Ooh, that's a juicy
I have
one.
a very popular song that is about my first kiss, so it is about just
Yes.
sharing and being vulnerable and honest.
Everything that you did so great today. We appreciate you. Such a talented artist. I cannot wait to see you and meet you again and have you,
Yeah.
performing at the playground July 29th. Guys, go get your tickets on the website. Check out Anuhea's website as well. Listen to her podcast. Just support her in any way. Look, he got his football with him. He's ready.
Oh
If he
my
come,
God.
is he coming to the show? You could
Um,
play some catch or something. I don't know. He's coming.
I gotta get his fake ID ready, but yeah, he could come.
Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember. That's right.
Oh, Maui
So
liquor laws. Come on, guys. Nah,
yeah,
nah.
yeah. So all right, Maui, she is coming. Go get your tickets. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I
Thank
appreciate you.
you. This
It
was
was
so
so
much
fun to
fun.
have you
I'm
on.
3 cups of coffee deep, and I'm like, woo, let's go.
I know. Let's keep going. Let's keep it rolling. So, all right, we're gonna end this broadcast, guys. Thank you for staying along, and Anuhea will have a couple more words with you right at the end. Thank
Sounds
you,
good.
guys.
Aloha.
Mahalo.
Cheese.